I know. I'm out on the trails again. I know these videos get very boring for a lot of you probably. I'm just trying to make the most of my walking time right now on these trails before the snow comes, because once the snow comes, it not only gets harder to walk, but you get snowmobiles on a lot of the trails, so it gets very difficult, and basically after a while you just can't easily walk on them. Anyhow, so I'm out making the most of the weather. It's 6 degrees today. It's about 1:20 on Monday, December the 5th, and it's a bit unusual to have this warmth. Anyhow, so I'm walking another section of the trails. We're walking the Cataraqui Trail south from Wallace Road. It's an area I don't walk that often. It's a little bit out of the way, not hard to get to, but just it's not as scenic as many of the other sections of the trails, but it's nice to walk down here occasionally. In the summer it can be pretty good for butterflies and other insects and things like that, and sometimes some snakes, but it largely goes through semi-agricultural land, brushy red cedar forest areas, some deciduous forest, as well as some marshland. So it has a mix of habitats on each side of it, but not the most scenic section. The trail here is also rougher than most other sections of the Cataraqui Trail. You can bike over it if you have wider tires and things like that, but it's rougher. From here right over to Yarker, it's not as smooth as other sections of the trail. Eventually, along the trail, you come across this large cattail marsh that's found on both the north side and the south side of the trail. And in the summer, there's a lot of activity out here. You have a lot of the marsh nesting birds, including northern harriers or marsh hawks. They're often seen flying out above the cattails out here. Both the gray male and the brown female with their white rumps. And you get a lot of marsh wrens and swamp sparrows, yellow warblers, red-winged blackbirds, grackles, of course. A lot of good stuff out here though. Virginia rails. So here's the marsh along the south side of the trail, just a little further up from where I was before. Sorry for the wind noise here, which is going to be bad, I'm sure. And there you see the marsh extending well up the trail to the west towards Yarker. This is actually known as the Yarker Marsh because it is situated near the hamlet of Yarker. As you can see, the trail isn't the most scenic section of trail around this area, but it is fairly little used compared to other sections, so you often can walk here without running into too many people. Luna loves her little puddles of water, even at this time of the year. It's 2 o'clock and we're just approaching the Camden-Portland boundary road here. We've been walking for about 40 to 45 minutes, heading west right now towards Yarker. And I think I'll walk a little bit past here and then probably turn around. It's been a nice walk, but with the wind and whatnot, there hasn't been a lot of wildlife. Very few birds even. This section up here is actually prettier in some respects. So I'll cruise along here for a ways. Now this is quite pretty along this section actually. There's a lot of little streams that are flowing fairly rapidly right now due to the recent rains that we've had. There's areas of bright green moss under the trees, and the cedar trees are nice and green. So just to the left of the trail here is the road to Yarker, which parallels the trail closely right here. We're only 30 feet away. And then this trail follows it most of the way into Yarker, not that close, but fairly closely. And here we have a long sight line to the end of the trail, or not the end of the trail, but to as far as you can see on the horizon. I would say we're probably looking a full kilometer or more straight ahead. Just one of several little personal driveways that cut across the trail here. I found this bracelet hanging in a tree beside the trail. I don't know, what do you think? Is it high quality Egyptian arts and crafts, or what would it be? I guess I'll leave it here in case somebody lost it. Just walking along this woods here, and I look in the woods and it looks like there's an old Chevette in there. GM Chevette, if anyone is old enough to remember what those look like. Looks like it's been in there for a while, slowly sinking into the underbrush. Clouding up fairly strongly. We're supposed to get increasing clouds overnight and then rain tomorrow. Rain and showers. Well, we've been walking for about 2¼ hours now, and we're almost getting towards Yarker, so I think I'll be heading back shortly here. Couple beaver chews here. So there's obviously beavers in this wetland. Now here's a couple classic old bikes that might be able to be fixed up maybe. Nothing a little care and love might not solve. That's one way to keep vehicles out of your entrance. Put a couple giant tractor tires in the way. That was a bald-faced hornet's nest. About a foot long and half a foot wide in diameter. It's 3:25 and we've just made the big swing northward on the trail now that leads us to the end of our hike today. We're a few hundred meters away, probably half a kilometer away from the Wallace Road shoulder parking. They don't have any parking spot per se, just a couple areas by the trail that you can pull off on the shoulder. So just a few hundred more meters until we come out to the car. I just thought I'd sign off here and hope you've enjoyed the outing. And as I said at the start, I hope there'll be a lot of other types of videos for you to enjoy shortly. I know these ones get a little monotonous, but just like to document my walks when I can